It's always great when you revisit an author or a series that just didn't work for you and have a completely different experience for the better. And that's what happened to me with this one. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about City of Illusions by Ursula K. Le Guin. And this is one of the books in the Hainish cycle, one of the earlier ones, that also includes what's usually talked about as the masterpiece of The Left Hand of Darkness. And if you have heard me talk about that or seen my review, I did not like The Left Hand of Darkness. I found it to be just a absolute snooze and really struggled to get through it at all. So I was very hesitant to try more Le Guin, especially Le Guin sci-fi, especially in the same series technically, although I know the Hainish cycle can be mostly read kind of independently of each other. But City of Illusions here was a patron pick from Heidi, and so I'm like, you know what, we're gonna try it out and give it a good shot. And I very surprisingly ended up quite loving this and having a very positive experience, which I did not expect. And it has me curious even to try more here in the series, which is about the best possible case scenario, honestly. So let's talk a little bit about this one. So this opens up with a character, and they have no memory of who they are, where they are, what's going on. They just sort of wander in out of the wilderness, and they end up being known as Falk and are just kind of trying to figure things out. And Falk is wandering in this sort of post-apocalyptic Earth, seeing these different pockets of humanity, learning things, and just kind of developing an identity for himself based on his learned experience. Wanders around for a couple years figuring all this out, but ultimately the only potential way he can get his memory back is to go to the city of the Xing, which are kind of the enemies. And it's set up a bit. The Xing ended up taking over, and part of the idea there is that mind speech, and I know that was a thing in Left Hand as well, but mind speech became really common, but the Xing are able to mind lie, which others couldn't do, and that somehow they use that to take over, essentially. So they're presented here as this villain, and he's learning all of these things. But then we have kind of the idea of identity really being explored here as well too, and it's what really makes you who you are. Is it your past, especially in the situation where he doesn't remember his past, or is it this new identity he's formed? There are some decisions around that the character has to make, and we're exploring a lot of those ideas that I found really fascinating. And I'm going to jump a little bit spoilery here really quick, just because I think the coolest parts are very spoiler heavy, so I'm going to talk that, and then I'll loop back and talk some more non-spoiler jumping in though. But the overall just idea, I loved the interactions with Falk and the Xing, and he ends up figuring out that they want to find out where he's from because he's this remnant of humanity that had gone off in the past and ended up breeding with another species, and so they changed and developed the ability to detect mind lying, and so that's what has the Xing so nervous. He's got to figure it out and have his people come and attack them and try and take over, so they want to get ahead of it. But in order to get his memories back, they say they have to destroy his current memories of the last couple of years where he has all of this information. So they raised his mind to begin with. They can restore it, but they got to raise everything else that he's learned, which would be also his distrust for the Xing. So I really liked that, and just kind of the idea. We sit with that for a bit and really delve into that idea of identity. And have this character trying to figure out what to do. And instead of being boring to me, I ended up enjoying those kinds of discussions and just the ideas around that whole thing. I think the two parts of this are quite different. And I was reading some other reviews, and I saw a lot of people saying they liked the first part with sort of the wandering, but they didn't like the more dystopian, the discussion about identity and mind speech and all those types of things. I really liked both. And I know that Left Hand of Darkness is much more the kind of wandering, and people seem to like that one more. And so maybe it's because I liked that being balanced with other elements that this one worked better for me. Um, but overall, this really just did work for me. I was very fascinated by the ideas being explored here, and Le Guin is just a objectively a really fantastic writer. Her writing in general, her ideas, the things she explores, some of her just the quotes you get from any Le Guin book you pick up, really fantastic writer. And just sometimes somebody being a fantastic writer still doesn't work for you. There's plenty of people who I'm sure are great writers that I have just not cared for their work, and you get that sometimes. And so I think it's okay. Like I've talked about, I haven't really liked this stuff even though it's popular, and here I am saying I really loved this book that's a like lesser known and much less loved uh, book that's in the same series. But I think it's just, yeah, it's one of those things that I was so nervous to read more LeGuin, because LeGuin is a really good author, but it's just her stuff was not always meant for me, but kind of hit or miss. I loved Earthsea when I was younger, but rereading it as an adult, I was a bit more mixed on it. And again, then I didn't like Left Hand, so I had a bunch of Ursula K. Le Guin sci-fi that I got rid of, actually, just because I'm like, I don't think this is going to be for me. And I kind of regret it, because the biggest possible, like, best case scenario here is not only was I just fascinated by what's being explored in City of Illusions, but I'm also interested to try more Le Guin now, which I didn't think was going to happen. I figured maybe eventually, but it's just there's so much stuff to read, so it's hard to want to prioritize stuff that you don't think you're going to get on with. But City of Illusions just explores those ideas of identity. Not only that, but just the creative way of us getting to see the world as Falk is traveling through these different pockets of the remaining bits of society. They have their own cultures, they have their own rules, ideas, and we're seeing all of these different pieces and using all of that information to piece together a picture of what's happening and what happened, just the same way as he is, because he has no memories before. So I thought it was just like that conceit of following him around as a character and learning about the world with him, I think worked really well. And then when we get into like the bigger questions in the back half, also just worked really well and I found fascinating. So based on me really enjoying this but not liking Left Hand, I'd be curious if you have a specific Le Guin book that I either should check out or definitely shouldn't. Let me know, because from what I've heard about a lot of the other ones, I'm curious on some, and I think there are some that I probably will like, but I think there are some I probably will very much not like as well. So I'm kind of curious, but if you have a specific recommendation, either like a positive or negative, like definitely don't check this one out or definitely do, let me know. I would be very curious to hear. But ultimately, I highly recommend checking this one out. If you're a Le Guin fan and haven't read it, definitely check it out. But even if you are like me and I've had more mixed or negative experiences with Le Guin, this is pretty short. It's very easy to get through, and I just thought it was fascinating and showcased a lot of just what is very Le Guin-esque. Like, a lot of her style, the things she likes to do, I think are show really well here, even though this is a shorter, earlier novel. So I highly recommend checking it out. That said, though, that is my review of City of Illusions by Ursula Le Guin. Let me know again your thoughts on this if you read it, or on the rest of like the Hainish cycle or her other sci-fi in general as well. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description as always for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizard of the Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.